perspectives, different views, one voice.
I guess when you unpack it and you look at people that bleach their skin, because I mean I've seen instances where it happen, but it's just like you look at them and it's just like, bro, you don't even look normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it looks crazy. It looks crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like
it's not healthy.
You
look neon. You look neon. Yeah. You look neon. So the thing is with that kind of colour is the reason why it don't make sense, especially to black people as well, is we know you're not light skinned because you're you bleach. So it's like no, you're bleach so light skinned. You're not light. Do you see what I'm saying? You're not naturally.
You can see it's not that person's natural complexion.
It makes a difference. Like some people will bleach and then they will become desirable.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about using it and looking raw.
Oh, not the raw one.
But this is the thing. There's levels of bleaching, innit? Yeah. Like he said, that it's all packaged differently. Yeah. There's more time. A lot of the people that you see in orange raw are going down to like the hair shop and buying what's behind the counter.
I'm just looking at them.
Yeah.
There's people that will be spending literally grands going to salons, going to all sorts, spending,
the ones that did it with more money.
And those people tend to look quite normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because they're eating certain.
There you go.
Yeah. But then you know what's so funny? In black community or in Africa in general, we have a different skin tone. There's a variety of it, and people are forgetting this. We've got a darker shade, we've got a lighter shade, and unfortunately,
I feel like that's the problem.
No.
We're
Just in
breaking
general.
things down by shades. At the end of the day, I'm a black person. You're a black person.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm
gonna still be treated just like the other black person is being treated.
I understand
so
that.
with you saying that. This is what we need to understand. That
those
divisions need to go. If those divisions don't go, things like colorism, racism, will never exist.
No, but you know what it is? I think there's a flip. There is always that. I know exactly what you're saying, but the flip side of it is that's why people don't embrace themselves because they're not embracing their individual shade as well. They still need, because when people don't do that, that's what's happened with the dark skinned girls. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they haven't got that love. So they haven't been able to embrace that side of themselves. So they haven't been seen as black girls, where they've been a cut-off. Like you said, the representation in the media is the lighter skinned girls. So they don't feel like, okay, we're black girls in the media. Yeah. We're the bottom of the barrel black girls, and there's those black girls. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I think you still have to recognize skin tone. But I do get your side of the whole, it's divisional. It's that to say the whole, but that's.
But I think you made a valid point. Like, just imagine, you work your arse off. Like, you study, you do whatever, you get a great job. You go on, you get as a light skinned person. You get a great job, etc., etc. You do all you needed to do to get to where you need to do to, and then they reduce it to you down to the fact that you were light skinned. Yeah. How is that any different to what these dark skinned girls are saying they feel? Do you know what I mean? It's like you're feeling like you're excluded, but you're gonna make it, but you're gonna only make it because of your colour of your skin, not because of your intelligence, not because of your graft, anything like that. Like, it's one of those things you're gonna constantly be divided. Whereas if you see everyone on a level playing field, everyone's given the same opportunities. No one's gonna feel like they're more elite or they're more better than everyone else, and no one's gonna look at that person and say that's the reason why you got to where you got to.
Do you know the perspective you're talking from? I think that's the perspective that needs to be spoken to white people. So they need to look at us.
No, because if black people can't unite amongst ourselves, why would a white person try and be that person?
Oh, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
No, obviously, definitely, black people, but I think generally, black people know black people are black people.
Like, where did this stigma came from?
No, obviously, we still know that light-skinned people are more desirable. But we do know that when we see a light-skinned person...
We still know that more light-skinned people are more desirable.
As in, to what we're talking about, society. There's always pulling you up about that bit. But obviously, we're talking about society. Obviously, they're more desirable to society, whatever, So, that's all that is. But, I mean, in the sense of, generally, when you see a light-skinned person and a dark-skinned person, we all know that they're both black. Do you get what I'm saying? That you can recognize that they're black. Do you get what I'm saying?
You know what the problem is?
No,
this is the problem.
But naturally, that's common sense.
I think.
Do you get what I mean?
But this is the thing, there will be people with two black parents that will be lighter than maybe a person with a black parent and a white parent.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Shades come in so many different.
Yeah,
That's what I
do you
was
know
saying
what I
back
mean?
to
Like,
team
oh,
being
the
black.
heritage can be completely different.
You know,
I get you.
you know what?
No, this is when we're getting into technicalities, but
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like just generally. We know like obviously when we see another black person, but like in the example of what you said with like the workplace, if white people would just look at us, like you said, as all shades black. Do you see what I'm saying?
I feel like they do.
Like they just.
Do
Nah,
we have
I don't think they do. I think that's
Yeah,
why
but
we have the examples
wait.
of in the media of mixed race people or
But
light
this is
skinned
the
person
thing. Identity
portraying
is
us
another
as black.
issue because one mixed race person might not identify themselves as black.
I know this,
Do you know what I mean?
but this is
So
what I'm saying.
when that's-
No, but then the
But it's
thing
what
with
white
mixed race
people-
people though, yeah.
No, but it's what
is
white
that
people
they
look
could,
at us
they
as.
can't, they might not identify themselves as black, which is fine, but they could never identify themselves as white. They could identify themselves as black if they wanted to,
That's true.
In a
but they
certain
could never
environment.
identify
true.
themselves as white.
That's true.
Yeah, because the whole point of it is that when you talk about slavery and you think about why we are where we are at the moment, is that the whole idea is that any black that you have in you, whatever drop of black you have in you,
Like a
you
pinch of
are
blood.
not white.
Yeah.
So the black community has to accept you.
Yeah.
But the white community, we are not accepting you because you are not white, because you have black in you, right? So yes, I understand the whole, but the problem that you have though, and not you, I mean the problem that we have in the community is because that was brought forth from the slavery days, and then the lighter skin you are, or if you were mixed race, you were getting more preferential treatment when it comes to food or whatever. No, this is still being played out in the societies that we live in. Right? So when we're talking about association, or we're talking about, we need to do this ad and we need to have a black person in there, the black person that they'll pull might be a light-skinned person, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
And the point that I'm making is that representation is it's almost like you're keeping a group of people very quiet. Because that representation that you're putting out there of that black person it's not that they're not black, because I think in regards to how you fit in today's world, it's all up to you, whatever you want to reference yourself as. So you could say to yourself that you're white if you're mixed race, but if it's not being socially acceptable, that's up to you. But no one can say to you that you're not white. But what I'm saying here is that those representation is very difficult, because even when you're talking about hair, the texture of a mixed race person's hair might be different. Some mixed race people might have a texture of hair like African or Caribbean people, but that texture might be different. So for instance, if you're advertising hair products and you're advertising it based on a light skin or a mixed race person, that black woman or darker skinned woman that might not have that hair texture is thinking, this is not even me. You're
what
selling
is wrong
this,
with that?
you're selling
That's
this
letting
to-
me know that
No,
that
but-
product is not for me.
No, but then that's the thing though.
I
So
would be more upset if you had some black woman pretending to wash this in her hair and I pull it in my hair and then it's all messed up
No,
and it
but
doesn't really work.
they do
then
it,
you're not doing
but
it.
then they do it anyway. Even when you look at these products for kids, and I say this because
Like
I have
Dove, for example.
I have kids where it's meant to be a black product, but even within those communities, the representation they have of black is of a lighter skinned child.
Yeah, they'll never
Are we
put a
talking
proper
about,
black.
like, relaxer boxes, because relaxer boxes, like, it changes the textures of hair. The relaxer in itself.
But then that's what I'm
probably
saying. So it's that representation. This is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying here is that this is something that's come from slavery. Because if you go back in the day, whether the skin tone or the shade or whatever you were talking about was just associated to tribes. Like if you go back to Ghana, there is certain tribes that have
Even in
a
Nigeria,
lighter skin
like
tone.
Igbo
Whatever.
and
No
Hausa.
one is still going to say, you're Ghanaian, it doesn't matter. That's why I say that some of these issues is not a problem like that in Africa.
No.
Yeah, because Africa we're not in a Western world where these things have been played out here.
Yeah.
So what is the reason for skin bleaching in Africa if those things are not being played out there?
No, so the reason for skin bleaching is white supremacy. So when the reason why I say it's not a problem, because you could have a president that's very dark skinned. So it's not like it's going to stop your progression to be in certain
They'll
positions.
still accept it. The
Yeah.
president will be still dark.
Because the community accepts you.
Yeah.
The community they're not going to look upon you and say, this person of a lighter shade is better than you just because you're darker skinned.
Yeah.
Are you with me on what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Yeah. So that when I say that it is a problem when it comes to white supremacy, because white is seen as the pinnacle of where we need to be.
Yeah.
Even when we talk about it, it's black people that organize it or whatever not. If it's a white person, then it's great. But when it's a black person, we always have negative connotations towards it. And whether people like it or not, these things happen within our communities. So
as what she's saying, we need to stick to our own and make sure that is sorted before we can point a finger. We need to also accept our community, make sure that, okay, this is the problem. This is the problem. We need to deal with it. But how do we deal with it? We only deal with it from our own generation, our children. But even moving forward from that, there's a black actress speaking out about colorism, which is recent this year. And it's Gabrielle Union, you know, the girls from... Gabrielle Union, Antika, Somtum, and Luputa have all been praised for their good looks, but because they're all dark skinned, however, they all have been asked to discuss how colorism or skin color discrimination affect their self-esteem. This woman and other actresses such as Keke Palmer and Vanessa Williams have had unique experience in out of the entertainment industry based on the skin color. Hearing them discuss their encounter or lack thereof with colorism, shade skins and hurdles that have yet to overcome in race relations. So this is exactly what we're talking about, because Luputa, she's perfect. She's doing well. She's doing well for herself. But as a dark-skinned actress, elevating herself, even there was a recent article, there was a guy and a baseball player was trying to cuss her, like she's so dark. I don't know what her problem is. It just came out of random nowhere. But she played it very cool, very mature, that she didn't even retaliate to a sense that, want to cuss him. Is also a black as well. But what I'm trying to say, as what we are all agreeing with, this skin colorism, it has an effect and it will never stop. The only way it's going to stop, we need to look at ourselves, stop pointing fingers at anyone else. If we have our own children, educate them to the degree that we can, make them understand what is going on. And as what Coach says, it has been happening, has been foreplaying in this slavery, and that's what is affecting us. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even though it started in slavery, I think, and I'm going back, I'm pretty sure it was probably, it never had anything to do with gender. That was just based on, it was just based on the complexion of your skin. So you could have been in the house even if you were a man or a woman. I think in the modern day, I think colorism certainly affects women, I think, much more than men. Much more than men. I think in the present day, it definitely affects them more, to the extent where you've got, examples. You've got examples of, I guess, darker skinned women discussing their issues and breaking in industry. Obviously, you mentioned Lupita Nyong'o. Obviously, I'm sure there are many other people as well. But at the same time, there's also men in certain prominent positions. There's this idea that, they tend to go to lighter skinned women. So, I remember, for example, I was reading an article and it was talking about Kendrick Lamar, because I remember his partner's mixed race, but because of the image he presents, there's this idea that he would go for a darker skinned woman because of the content of his music and everything. But then you look at other people like Jay-Z, you look at even like Will Smith, there's certain, men in prominent positions who go for a lighter shade woman, and I think that presents a certain... They could... No.
That's exactly what I was saying.
They could have fallen in love with them, but it presents...
It's not valid, but then look, that representation that you have out there. Whether you want to say they could have fallen in love or whatever, no, fair enough, I'm not disputing that. But what we're saying here is that you look at footballers, basketball players, baseball players, and all of them, are going for lighter shade women, and all we want to say is that they could have fallen in love. No, there's something more there than that.
I can only speak about Kendrick. Kendrick's missus was with him before he...
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about people like that.
Yeah, but then from the start, he could have had all these issues that we're talking about anyway.
The Luke Cage guy... he was with his missus all the time, because I remember people were coming at him because obviously he married a white lady, etc., etc. And he's like, "Raw, this woman was sleeping in cars with me. Do you know what I mean? She was grinding with me. So what we're expecting them to do is, once you get to a prominent level, don't advocate for us unless you're dating within your race."
For my preference of what I'm going to discuss, colorism is among us, and sadly it's affecting the black community into a level whereby we need to educate ourselves. We need to start pointing fingers. The history, has affected us, obviously, but moving forward and hopefully in the new generation that is coming, we need to educate our own children from a younger age. It's unfortunate that this media has great effects in what is happening. And you've got Snapchat, you've got Instagram, you've got, you know what this media is affecting, and especially on top of that, to bonus it, you've got the news. But there is a positive outcome out of this colorism, in a sense where not in you changing your skin color to suit yourself. If you want to do that, you can do that, but understand there's a great effect which is going to disturb you in the longer run. And
Sorry, I don't mean to make you lose your train of thought. Sorry, Karen.
So it will disturb you. I meant by disturbing you, like, there's a great effect. It's just not a way whereby it's a Lululand. You get bleaching. It's going to affect you, like, because the chemical you're going to use to put in your skin, in your tone, on your body, is not really a good solution where you need to use it. But for me, I'm happy the way my skin is. And so if you can embrace yourself, and love your environment and love your community, pass that knowledge, and you educate your children, which is, I think that's the fundamental side of it. Well, unfortunately, the whole African community are spreading towards that kind of region, which is not good. However, colorism should be respected, and I think that you should respect your own. That's what my thinking is.
With me, I just feel that the whole colorism thing is a bit, especially in 2019, we're at that the age of technology and education, where you can educate yourself, and people are getting a lot more conscious where they should know better now. I feel like we're at the age where there ain't really excuses why people should be so ignorant to a lot of things. They should love themselves, and black people in general need to know where they come from, find love and embrace where they come from, where they don't need to look at another society for supremacy or for that type of, I don't know, dictation as to what is society's standards of beauty and things like that, where they can just even look at within themselves and they define their own standards of beauty. Don't matter if they're light skin, brown skin, dark skin, like, they're just black. Do you see what I mean? Like Sarah said, you're just black. You just embrace your blackness, you embrace yourself, and you love yourself. After you do that, then we wouldn't even be having the discussions of colorism, and because we wouldn't even take it as a people. We wouldn't even accept it as a people. Once we've all embraced it, our blackness, we wouldn't allow outsiders to manipulate our complexions against ourselves. We would just actually dictate everything ourselves. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so I think the whole idea of colorism and the genesis of it is all to do with divide and conquer. And it's the whole idea is that if we can make you guys focus on the stuff that doesn't really mean much, then you guys, everything that we're doing to you, you're not going to recognize, or you're not going to fight against it, because you're fighting among yourselves. And I think colorism is just based on beauty and what we see as beauty, and also in regards to white supremacy. And I say that because I feel like black people talk about technology, and I do understand that there's a lot more knowledge out there. But what is knowledge if you don't act upon it? What is the point of seeing things to say, oh, this is the root of it, or this is where this came from, if you personally are not doing anything about it? So it definitely starts with us. But one thing that we have to bear in mind here is that if you are not in a position of power, and that's the Western world, when you are not in a position of power, then things could be done to you. Yeah. So for instance, we could all accept that, oh, we don't have any shades between us and everyone is black or whatever, not. However, the people that are making decisions could still dictate on who they put on that pedestal to represent us. So for me, the key thing is that we have a duty to ourselves. Yes, it's identity, because I feel like even within black people cannot form their own identity. Black people are being dictated to, even in a professional environment, on how you need to be represented. And whether it comes to a woman and when it comes to beauty and what women are doing with their hair, controversial, sorry. Or what black men, even when it comes to hair as well, because how many of us wear our hair how we want to wear our hair. We cut these hairs because of we wanting to fit in. So I'll always bring it down to that. We need to come to a point where we realize the things that are happening around us and come to a point to say that we cannot allow these things to happen. Even though we might not be in a position of power, we realize some of these issues and intrinsically try to tackle it. Now, when I talk about these footballers and when I talk about baseball players, basketball players, I believe in love. I definitely, when you hear some of these stories of people being together for a while, and of course, when they are what so-called celebrities now people are saying, oh, you're so dark-skinned, how can you not be with a dark-skinned woman? And I think that's not fair. However, one thing I also say though, is that if you look at that demographic, and a lot of them are with lighter shade women, then there has to be a question that needs to be asked within our population to say, why is that the case? Every one of them just can't be about love and I've been sleeping with you in the car. There is an issue, and this is what I'm saying. You could never really tackle the issue if we want to always come up with, not excuses, but with a way to say, oh yeah, love is universal. Yes, everyone believes in love. But why are we seeing that? There is a conversation. And if we keep saying that, then we could never really have that conversation. Because for me, I feel like it is a problem within our communities that needs to be discussed. So I think all I will say is that the colorism for me is an issue, and colorism in regards to having something to do about it. In the Western world, it might be more difficult because we could all accept it. However, if we have someone that's being chosen to represent us, it will always bring back other conversations around why is that person representing us.
Okay, in terms of colorism, I feel like it's just in society, it's to make us see our own people as competition. And it's like a divide that's been put there so that you are constantly competing for the bottom of the barrel. Because let's be honest, we're not really fighting for top positions.
Yeah.
So my thing is, stop seeing each other as competitors. Like, we are stronger together. There's so many demonstrations, so many examples where when we band together, we make things happen. So let go of all negativity. Stop letting outside people that don't know you, that will never know you, dictate how you see life, how you see your standard of beauty, and how you choose to maneuver in the world. Like, love is free. So fighting it. And let's be honest, if you hate someone, it takes up a lot more energy because you're worrying about something that they're not even probably worried about. So change your mindset, change the narrative in your head, and understand that your people are not against you. Like, let's just rise together.
I guess for me, colorism within the black community, I think it all starts from identity. I think it's there's definitely a sense of strength that you can get in identifying where you've come from and identifying where this whole issue of colorism has started. Because, you know, if you trace it back to slavery, I think a lot of people need to be educated as to how it all came about, and the very fact that it was to create a sense of divide and conquer. Because I think some people, obviously it's about, they see it as, where if I lie in my skin, you know, I may be able to prosper within a prominent position. I may be able to adhere to higher standards of beauty, but they have to unpackage that and see, you know, and sort of understand this is exactly where it's come from. I think it starts with education. That's the most important thing. Obviously, it's a question of where that comes from, because for some people, they don't even necessarily get that education within their family. In fact, there could be issues of self-hate, you know, being raised up. You know, you read articles and you hear things about people, you know, dark-skinned people who may have grown up in particular environments where there was a certain level of self-hate towards their complexion. However, the flip side is you hear people grow up in, you know, families where there's a sense of admiration for, you know, having a certain complexion, having a real sense of pride in pushing that forward. I think so. I definitely think education plays a massive, massive part in that. I think in the present day, I definitely feel like colorism definitely affects women much more than it does men. I mean, I've seen articles, even it was The Guardian, and it was titled "Why Black People Discriminate Amongst Themselves and the Toxic Legacy of Colorism." And within the article, there was a video of 8 black women from America just speaking about their experiences of colorism. You know, the majority of them, some of them were dark skinned, some of them were light skinned, and they spoke about, you know, some experience. Even one dark skinned woman was saying, you know, at certain points, certain men would turn around and qualify a statement by saying, "Oh, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl." You know, but it's like, why would you have to qualify the statement by saying that? You know, and that in itself, you know, raises issues. I think in the present day, I think you definitely started to see amongst, I guess, black people a bit more progression. I think you even point out like something like Rihanna's makeup product Fenty, which is sort of like geared towards makeup like for black women. I think that's certainly starting to help sort of, I guess bring out, the standards of beauty amongst black women and sort of have a sense of pride in that. I mean, I could be wrong, but, you know, I've seen articles about, you know, what her makeup line is doing for the industry. But at the same time, you know, you've got portrayals of women in the media, and it's important to point out the media because, you know, we live in a world where the media plays a massive part in terms of what you see, how you act. And I think people like Lupita Nyong'o, I mean, who else? What other dark-skinned actresses can you think about? Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. What other dark-skinned actresses?
But it's like, what role does Gabrielle Union really play? Someone like her that's been in the industry for so long should be one of the prominent actors in. Because you know what I didn't even bring. You know the lady that was in. What's her name?
Viola Davis.
She compared herself to Viola Davis. Yeah, she compared herself to Meryl Streep. Because you know Meryl Streep's got Academy Awards and whatever. And she's like, my career is on parallel with her in regards to what I have done. But in regards to recognition within the industry, she doesn't get the same recognition as Meryl Streep will get. That's what, in her words, that's what she was saying. And I've seen her being
I feel like that's just one of those things whereby we are always trying to fight ourselves into spaces that are not created for us.
It's not created for us. In the industry, in Hollywood, there's no spaces that are created for us.
So create your own.
You have to fit in.
You know what?
It's not easy as said.
Create your own. I understand that conversation.
No, bring the frustration. It's not as easy as said.
Because
let me have one point though. I think
it's not
obviously
easy.
Like that whole.
Listen. I'm with you.
No, let me finish.
I understand.
No, but let me finish what I'm saying. Like,
who owns the media?
Who owns the media? Can I say a point? Can I say a point? Correct me if I'm wrong, but has Viola Davis not won an Oscar? She's won an Oscar.
She won one for.
She's won an Oscar, but she ain't been acting as long as Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep's been acting from.
Who are you saying? Who told you that?
She has.
Who told you that? Say you don't know your facts, mate. Don't say that, bro. Don't say that. She has been. It's the recognition, though. This is what, and exactly what she's saying. That's exactly what she's saying. Because to the outside world, you think Meryl Streep has been about doing all this, but she has also. She has been grinding, but the recognition she gets in the industry is not comparable. So okay, when you talk about, so it's almost like
that's what I was gonna say after.
Look,
go on.
It's almost like I understand and I fully accept the whole idea of why don't you do it yourself. I understand.
It's not
right?
easy as that.
But the whole why not you do it yourself? Yes, Ali, I do. For once we agree. I do definitely agree with you. That it's not as easy as that.
It's not.
So when you start off as an actor or an actress, then you need to, like, I always believe in being authentic to yourself and knowing the person that you are and what you want to represent. Like someone like Denzel Washington, between his movies, there's a way that he wants himself to be represented.
And he's never won an Oscar yet.
And he's never won an Oscar yet, right?
Does it make him a less of a greater artist?
It doesn't, but within the industry...
He's got like two. That's what I'm saying.
But it's an Oscar, yes. It's not. It's an Oscar. You wouldn't know.
He got training there.
For glory
and glory. Yeah.
It's the pinnacle of you in that industry of your work. But so the Oscar, yes, you can say that. Oh, you haven't won an Oscar yet.
Yeah,
I guess this is not being represented.
It's not that about the Oscar. It's not about the Oscar. The Oscar is because it's not as there. Like it's not in your face for you to recognize the Oscar. I know what you mean. You understand?
No,
he's won the Oscar. He's won the Oscar.
Is that within every industry there are some there are some awards that could mean something to you because you are respected in that industry, right? And Oscar is one of them. For actors and actresses, it mean a big thing because you've done something substantial for you to get that award. So we could say that within you could start your own thing, you could start your own black industry, whatever. No. However, if you're not getting that recognition on that mass media platform, then it bothers some people. So a lot of the conversations that we have, everything we say, we need to, and this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. I'll say it personally. People say we need to start. Who is starting it? Who is starting it? Everyone keeps saying that. No, but everyone is saying that, and it has been started. And the same problem I have here within our communities. Everyone wants to talk about how bad it is, how bad this is happening, how bad knife crime. But who's doing anything about it? Because all we do, let me finish my point. Because all we do is just talk. Black people like coming together and talking about this heaven state that we want to be in, but no one does anything about it. Because who's doing it?
Can I say?
So then, because no one's doing it, we should still.
No, I'm not saying that because no one is doing it. I'm saying that a lot of the times when we talk about stuff, the whole idea of that is that first of all, we want to engage people. We want to bring a unity. My idea of the whole podcast is to bring people of like-minded people to move the agenda forward. By moving the agenda forward, it's not just by talking. It's also by putting some things in place, by action. Because I can't sit here and talk. But what am I doing about it? So if people are talking about the industry, I'm not in the media industry. So for instance, if I'm a lawyer or if I'm in a profession where I'm a plumber and I work for a company and I'm talking about black people then when I start talking like that, I need to be thinking about me opening up my own business and bringing black people within those industries because that's how we change things. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that when we keep saying these things, and it's great that we need to put this out there, but action, and this is what I have with this whole knowledge and being woke. People read all sorts, people put all sorts of information out there. But in practical, in their life, are they actually acting upon that? Because if you're not, then what's the point?
But that goes with everything in life. A lot of people talk a lot about, like, how many people be like, oh, no, I'm not having this from work. And you go to work, get treated like a chief, and you don't do nothing about it. That's what people, but in order for there to be a change, you have to talk about it. You have to be a thing whereby people know that you're going to openly support it. My thing is, I think it's insanity, trying to go through a door that has been, for centuries, been closed on us. We're still trying to get down. And then what we're doing is, we're fighting, we're grateful for the crumbs that they're giving us from that. Oh, she's got an Oscar. Halle Berry got an Oscar for being a whore.
Yeah, that was.
Do you know what I mean? She got an Oscar for being a whore.
And after that, her career is passed.
But she's got an Oscar though, right?
Yeah. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things?
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're fighting. We're constantly trying to fight to get into these spaces. Like, for instance, Black Wall Street. They had no outside intervention. They survived. Obviously, whatever, like, you know, they burnt it down. We have this notion that we need white people to co-sign and do in order for us to do the things that we need to do.
Do you know what it is? I think it goes down to, with what you're saying, integrity, and also it's integrity and also vying for a certain level of attention. Not from just white people, but from that with the Viola Davis thing, it's you can start your own lane or whatever, but with her, rightfully, as a human being, if you put in the same shift as someone else, you're gonna be that way. Hold on.
You should be recognized. Yeah, you should.
No, wait. No, but that's what. No. But this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that's natural, whether it was white people or black people. She's talking about the natural audience. Do you see what I'm saying? The bigger audience, generally, she's not saying white people. She's saying, I don't get recognized. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the world. Because we're the audience. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not just white people.
But it's not the world, though.
No, it's not. It's the people people that have the power of making those decisions.
Obviously, you are talking about the programming to make people recognize her. But if she put in... Because there's people that could do a more independent route or whatever, and they can still get as recognized as someone who's going to shoot. That's all I'm...
Okay, until next time, that's the Perspective Podcast.
Perspectives, different views, one voice.